Hola, soy Melanie, la dueña de la Casa Noble en Aracena. A lot of people, the first question when they find out that you've done what I've done is, why Aracena? What was the point? Why there? And to be perfectly honest, it was a bit of a spur of the moment decision to do. We were already there on holiday through Spain, Feria de Seville, all of that good stuff. Went into the mountains to visit friends and family and fell upon this house by complete accident, and it had a big for sale sign on it, or se vende, and I just fell in love with it. When we then walked into the house, like when the agent came and showed us the house, I only got as far as the first 3 steps into the house. I hadn't gone in or seen anything yet. I had gotten that far through the house when I had a very, very gut reaction, and it just was like, wow, this is my house. And it's quite funny because years on, now that we've been running it as a hotel and everything, I've had tons of people who've come through. And one of the architects said to me, as he come through, not the architect of my house, but an architect who came as a guest, said to me, you know, the chances are that you didn't choose the house chose you. So I bought it more or less 10 years ago. So I've had 10 years to get it up to the state it is now. And now she turns 100 years old, and it's really lovely because she's been returned to her former glory, and she's like an old, you know, an old film star that had gotten a bit old and no one was putting her makeup on anymore or whatever, and she's come back for her glory days again because we've spent 10 years making her look beautiful again because the bone structure was there and everything, so it's great. So she's turning 100 years this year, so it's a 1914 historic, iconic home in the little village of Aracena in the middle of, you know, the Andalusian hills. The original owners were actually textile merchants, and this was their secondary home from Seville, which is great because it sort of ties in with my whole fashion design background and the fact that that's something that I truly believe in and love. And I think it's easy to believe that they would be because of the intrinsic aesthetic value that the house had when we purchased it. It's very colourful. It's decorative because a lot of the original tiles are there, a lot of the original wrought iron work, a lot of the original frescoes. They paid an awful lot of money for someone to do these beautiful full ceiling, full wall frescoes that today you just wouldn't have the time, you wouldn't find the people to do it. Thankfully I only had to restore parts of it. I didn't have to start everything from scratch. And to me it's a wonderful testament that so many people have come in. I've had actually family from the original owners come in and they were just like, oh my God, it's just like it was, but so much better. And that to me is just like, yay, thank you. It's a bit of a stress when you have something so beautiful that you're responsible for. So when I saw those frescoes and I thought, I'm gonna have to get these restored. That's a lot of responsibility to me. Like that's a lot of like, okay, you can either really screw this up or you can try and get this done really well. Manolo, who did the restoration of the frescoes, it was just a joy to have him in the house because I learnt a lot from him. Because there's, you know, the main salon, we had to literally redo 2 panels completely. And there's 8 passes of colour. And it's all hand painted. People go in there now and think it's wallpaper. They don't realise that actually someone has sat there and hand painted every little fine detail. And he sat there up to the point that, you know, you could tell when he'd taken a breath in and he held his breath to make sure that all of those little pin lines were perfect. The amount of control he had in his hand was amazing. So technically he had a great capacity. He also was able to hand mix all of the colours to match. But it was a real battle to get people to maybe do things that was outside of their comfort zone. So my favourite bathroom is because there's a jacuzzi and a curved wall with these beautiful blue pave bricks that have been set in, and they're not evenly spaced, and I had to just literally sit there and go, okay, now put that one there. Here, yes, just make sure it's level and plumb. That's all I need you to do. Here, yes, that one there. Okay, and then we'd move on. So it wasn't easy. Their concept of time is very different. You know, like we have a circular staircase out the back, and a circular staircase is called un caracol because it's a snail. Well, my sister decided to actually call the guy who installs this thing Señor Caracol because he was so dang slow getting it done. I eventually found someone else to do it 7 months later. I gave up trying to, you know, schedule them to come because that doesn't happen. You have to go down and catch them while they're having coffee, and while they're there, drag them back up to the house to do something. Maintenance on an old home is very, very different to maintenance on a new home. You have to want to do it. You have to love the property. It has to be a member of your family as much as, you know, the pet dog or your son or daughter or anything else. I mean, everyone laughs because I talk about the children in my hotel. I talk about the hotel rooms as though they are my children. And I've had people say to me, you know, the way you talk about your rooms, it's like you have children. And I do. I have Castillo and Serenidad and Mariposa and Madrigal. It's quite funny. Other people are just like, I don't understand the attachment you have to these rooms. My personal living space is in the attic, and it's probably the most modern space within the whole home because it's more like having my own studio apartment with fantastic views out over the Sierras off one side, because we took half of the roof off to make it into a big terrace. Typically Australian, we want outdoor living space. I somehow got roped into doing a Spanish cooking show within like a year of my opening the hotel, and it was hysterical because it all had to be in Spanish, but I didn't actually really speak Spanish yet. Nor, by the way, do I have the cooking skills that really are worthy of being on any cooking show, but it was fun. It was a bit of a laugh and a bit of a challenge, but you know. The fact that I didn't speak Spanish at the beginning when I got there was a real impediment to learning how to communicate with the local people, obviously. However, the flip side of that is I was really lucky because the local people, they saw the dedication or the effort that was put in to learn the local customs, to enjoy the local customs, to learn the language, and to not impose my culture on their culture, but to try and be participatory. Do you know what I mean? To be a part of the daily village life in my village. And as you slowly continue to do that and put the effort in, you get the respect that comes along with that from the local villagers. And I'm really happy now that I can say I do have some really lovely friends there, really lovely friends. And they, you know, if I'm missing any of the ferias or the fiestas or whatever because I'm here in Australia at the time, I'll still get emails through, you know, or text messages through, ¿Qué tal, Melanie? ¿Dónde está? Like, you know, where are you? What are you doing? You're missing out. This is ridiculous. Where are you? Sort of thing. And that's nice, you know, that's nice that I am part of like that group that's meant to be there for a lot of things now. Gracias. Espero que vengas a las Sierras muy pronto y nos veremos en la Casa Noble.